Do you eat eggs every day? Isn't that dangerous? Does it raise cholesterol? Should you eat only the egg white and discard the yolk? What's the difference between white and brown eggs? Hello family! Welcome to another video here on our channel. Eggs have always been surrounded by controversy. Sometimes they're called the best food in the world. Sometimes they're seen as a heart risk. That's why in this video we're going to uncover the truth about eggs. How many can you eat per week? Is it really a complete food? Is it a good source of protein? Keep the yolk, discard the yolk, and what about cholesterol? This video, of course, deserves your like, deserves your thumbs up. Don't forget to share it in your groups as well. Show that you're well informed. And tell me, how many eggs do you eat per week? Leave it in the comments below. Let's see what the average is among our audience. Are you already over 40, 50, or 60 years old? Did you know there's a line of essential supplements specially developed for people over 40? That's right. Nutriegio Supplements offers magnesium, omega-3 vitamin D, creatine, coenzyme, and other supplements with formulas and dosages tailored to your exact needs. For people 40 and up, 50 like me, 60, 70 and beyond, but make sure to check it out. Nutriegio will transform your health, your immunity, and your energy. I'll ask them to put the website in the video description. I'll also ask them to add the QR code there. Check it out. Don't forget to invest in your health. As I mentioned, eggs are always surrounded by controversy. Sometimes they're good for you, sometimes they're bad. And the biggest fear of people who eat eggs is definitely cholesterol. Well, my cholesterol is already high. Can I eat eggs? Eggs have cholesterol? Well, here are two important questions, okay? First, the cholesterol that's circulating isn't the cholesterol that comes from food, okay? 20% of the cholesterol we have in our body comes from food. 80% is produced by the liver. That's right. So even if you don't consume cholesterol, the liver will produce it. If you consume a lot of cholesterol, the liver stops producing it to keep cholesterol at that optimal level. And then comes the second question. Cholesterol is important. From cholesterol, for example, our hormones are produced: testosterone, progesterone, estrogen. Vitamin D is produced from cholesterol. For the formation of bile, which digests fats, cholesterol is needed. Our brain is almost pure cholesterol. It's in the myelin sheaths, in the cell membranes. And speaking of cell membranes, all our cells, all the membranes of our cells need cholesterol. In fact, several studies have already shown that with very low cholesterol, you have a higher mortality rate from all causes than with high cholesterol. But isn't it dangerous for the heart? Yes, but only some small, dense, and potentially oxidizable fractions. And you don't see these fractions in a regular cholesterol test. You need to measure ApoA and ApoB. I have videos here about this. Be sure to check them out. And also, this cholesterol needs to be oxidized to form the atheroma. What is oxidized cholesterol? It means high inflammation. So if you eat poorly, if you sleep poorly, if you have a terrible lifestyle, if you overdo alcohol, processed foods, this will oxidize your cholesterol. If you have a good quality of life, exercise, eat well, and avoid these substances, inflammatory substances, your cholesterol will not be oxidized or will be less oxidized. So that's the first point. Regardless of how many eggs you eat, your liver will be producing cholesterol. The second point is it really a complete food? Well, it actually is. The egg is one of the most complete foods in the world. The egg basically only lacks vitamin C. It has everything else. Eggs are one of the few foods that contain vitamin D because we produce our vitamin D from sunlight. The egg has vitamin D. It's a small amount, but it has it. It has vitamin A, as I mentioned, and B complex vitamins. But there are some specific elements in the egg that are important. First, it's a good source of protein. Each egg has an average of 6 grams of protein. Okay, meat has more, chicken has more, fish has more, but it's still a good and relatively cheap source. Unfortunately, eggs aren't that cheap anymore. But it's still a cheap source of protein. Considering the amount of protein, the egg white has more protein than the yolk. So if your intention is to use eggs as a source of protein, for example, for those who exercise and want to gain muscle, it's better to eat the egg white, okay? It has more protein. However, the yolk has some very interesting elements. For example, choline. Choline is essential for our brain, okay? Without choline, we become a bit lethargic. Our reasoning isn't as good, and our memory starts to fail. Vitamin B12. Eggs are also very rich in vitamin B12. Eggs are very rich in vitamin A, which is important for the eyes, as well as lutein and zeaxanthin, which are carotenoids that also protect our vision. So do you want to maintain healthy vision for longer? Egg. And here's an important detail, okay? Always eat eggs fried, boiled, or poached. Never eat raw eggs, okay? Why? Well, first, because you absorb less protein. That's right. Proteins, when they're not denatured, tend to be absorbed less. And another thing, there's a protein in the egg called avidin. Avidin, it inhibits biotin. So the more avidin you consume, the less biotin you'll have. And biotin is important. It's an important vitamin. So when you cook the egg, when you fry the egg, this avidin is denatured. And it won't inhibit biotin. So that's an important detail. White egg or brown egg? Actually, the difference is very small. What really matters is the color of the yolk. You'll see that the lighter the yolk, the fewer carotenoids it has. Less vitamin A, less lutein, less zeaxanthin, less choline. Why? Because that chicken is from a factory farm. On the other hand, the free-range egg, you'll see that the yolk is darker, it's denser, it's more reddish. Why? More vitamin A, more choline, more lutein, more zeaxanthin. So it's the most recommended egg, it's the free-range egg, because the free-range egg comes from chickens that scratch around. Chickens raise free-range. It also has more omega-3. So if you can, of course it's very difficult. Free-range eggs are more expensive. Not everyone has access to them. But it's a richer, more complete egg. Discard the yolk, Moacir. Is it worth discarding the yolk? Well, in fact, most of the cholesterol is in the yolk. But as we said, it doesn't help much to avoid consuming cholesterol because your liver will produce it. So, I don't recommend discarding the yolk. Discarding the yolk only makes sense when you use eggs as a source of protein. And in that case, the egg white has much more protein. So those bodybuilders, for example, they only consume the egg white. And then comes the final question. How many eggs can I eat per week, Moacir? Actually, there isn't a safe number, okay, my friends? Oh, you can eat 5, 6, 12, 1. There's no such number. No research has been done about that. However, it's that old saying, too much of anything won't be good for you. After all, you need to vary your diet with other foods. You need to eat meat, you need to eat vegetables, consume fiber, antioxidants. So there are other important foods. How many do you eat, Moacir? I eat on average 2 to 3 eggs every day. Is it safe? It's safe. It doesn't affect your health at all. On the contrary, since it's a complete food, it will provide you with a range of nutrients and there's no danger. Of course, I don't recommend overdoing it. Moacir, I eat 12 eggs a day again. Too much of anything isn't good for you. Even too much water isn't good. My friends, I've got news, huh? In a few days, our podcast will be live. We're going to invite specialists from different areas of health to discuss how you can live longer, better, and healthier through this information. So stay tuned. Not subscribed to the channel yet? Subscribe, okay? Subscribe so you can be notified when our podcast starts. Oh, I'm not subscribed, Moacir. How do I subscribe? Just click on subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell. Don't forget to select all. And my website, have you checked it out yet? It's www.dedi.oherdrimonsai.com.br. On my website, you'll find all the supplements I use and recommend. My courses are there, and my other social media links. Make sure to check out my website. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you've lost your fear of eating eggs. And I look forward to seeing you in our next conversation, my friends. See you then.